two of them red with borders, and then two gray ones without borders. And I like to keep it there. I like to look at it while I'm writing the code. Just makes it a little easier. So I'll just put a comment here saying canvas 2 squares, and I'll clean this up before I actually put it in your program files, just to make it a little more, because you should always make your code as readable as possible, just so you can understand it, and then if anyone else needs to do something with it, so they'll understand it. It's just it's good practice just to keep it clean. That's why I like to have it, these three parts. I mean, a lot of people will just do it, they'll put the actions up here, and they'll put different properties in different places. I like it to be all together nice and neat. So now we're going to do the rectangle. So we're going to do number 1 again, get an object. Now we're going to get it from here, from the the HTML file. Then we're going to get this canvas with an ID of canvas 2. So we want to do pretty much the same thing here, just with the canvas 2. So canvas 2. First of all, we gotta make a VAR is just saying that you're gonna create a variable right here. So VAR canvas 2 equals document dot get element by ID. And like you just saw, I had the Y capitalized, which screwed everything up. So it's very important that you do the camel case correctly. You only want the first the first letter of each word to be capitalized, except for the very first one. And then we want to give that canvas 2. So we're grabbing the canvas 2 ID, and then we want to create the context. So we'll do variable context 2 equals canvas 2 dot get context. And like I told you before, we have to have that 2D in there. I apologize if I write a little slow, if I type a little slow. I know a lot of programmers on these tutorials fly through the text, but I'm actually a better programmer than a typer, so just bear with me. And the next thing we're going to do, like we did here, we're going to set some properties. And in this, we're going to actually build 4 separate rectangles in this canvas. So it's going to be a little longer than what we did with the text. So let's do, trying to think. So let's create the fill style first of the first rectangle. So ctx2 dot fill style, and that's gonna be, we're gonna make that a red color. And we'll do the stroke style, which is the border. Whenever I say stroke, it's pretty much means either outline or border. So ctx2 dot stroke style equals black. Okay, whoops, forgot my quotes, double quotes. And what else do we want? We want to do a line width for the stroke. So it's what is it? It's ctx2 dot line width. Line width equals 10. And what this means, what the line width is this stroke. This black stroke is 10 pixels wide. Okay? And that's it for the properties. And that was to, create properties. Now we want to make the object, the rectangle. So 3, make rectangle. So just trying to think. All right, so let's do CTX2 fill rect. Okay, so the fill rect function is going to it's going to fill the rectangle that we just created. And we're also going to create the size of it as well. This takes 4 parameters, okay? I'm just going to show you it takes 4 parameters. The first 2 are going to be where we want the rectangle to start. And for the first 2, we're going to do 45 and 5. Okay, so what that means is that 45 means it's from here to here, and then 5 means here to here. And then for this is the size of the rectangle, the X and the Y. So we want our triangle is going to be even on all sides, and I believe it was 135. So we want 135 in both of these, placeholders. Okay, and we don't need that quote there. We just want to end it with a semicolon. Now let's save and reload, see what happens. Yep, so we have our red triangle. The red is coming from right here, the fill stroke. Now we did create a stroke style of black, but we didn't implement the stroke yet. We only implemented the rectangle. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to do CTX2 dot what is it? Stroke rect. Okay, and we're going to put the same. We're actually going to put the same exact parameters in here because we want it to end up in the same place. Let's save that and see what happens. Alright, so you can see it added a stroke in the same place, and we put a line width of 10. You'll see if I change this to 5 and reload, it gets smaller. You could do, you can even do 115. You can do all kinds of things. Possibilities are endless. So, as long as you get these base values, these base strategies down, you'll be able to do some really cool stuff. So that was the first square or rectangle, and now we're going to do the next one. And the next one we're going to do is the gray one on the right. So what this will take, it'll take different parameters for these first 2 parameters because we want to move it over more. Well, actually 5 will stay because it's still 5 from the top. So, and we're also changing the color. We're changing the fill color to a gray, so we need to reset it. If we don't add any more fill colors down here or stroke colors, it'll just stay at what it was. So we're going to do CTX dot, let's change the, we're going to change the fill style to, change the fill style to a dark gray, which is all 6s. Oh, we need the hash. Okay, so we get a new fill style. That means anything under this is going to have a fill style of this color. And we're not going to have a stroke for this. As you can see, there's no border. We could if we wanted to, but I didn't include it on these two. So next we're just going to go right to filling the rectangle. Whoop, I forgot to put the 2 here. So we're going to do fill rect. And for these values, we're going to do 200, and what that 200 is from the beginning of the canvas on the left all the way over. So we're going to do 200, and then we're going to do 0, and then we want to do the same 135 for both of these, for both the X and the Y. Let's save that, reload, and there's our square. Now you might see how in the, because this is our, let me just separate this. This is our first rectangle, and this is our second. Now you see this is 45 over, and then we have 5 for it to come down. The reason we have that 5 is because we have a stroke. If we kept it at 0 like this gray one, then this top stroke wouldn't be shown. If I don't know if I explained that correctly, but because the stroke will add, you know, it pushes it down, obviously. So that's why that's 5 and this is 0. Just to clear that up. Alright, so now we want to move on to this next gray rectangle with no stroke. So once again we have to reset. We got to reset the fill style to, and we'll just copy from up here. I'm going to do the gray, I believe, again. We actually don't have to recreate it because it's actually the last fill style, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And now for this, we're going to do, why is this not copying? I just want to copy this. Now we got to change these up. Bottom left triangle. Yeah, so we want 45. We want 45 over from here, and then down we want 150 because we want it to end up down here. And then the next, we're going to keep that because we want the rectangles, we want the squares to be all the same. So let's save that, reload, and now we have the gray square. So now again, we need to reset the styles, and I'm going to grab some from up here because we're doing another red with a black stroke. So I'm just going to take fill style, the stroke style, and the line width, and copy that. Put that right here. So now we can actually just take this, and if we keep the parameters like this and I save, whoop, my bad. If we keep the parameters like that, it's not going to do anything because it's behind this one. So we got to change these to 200. Yeah, 200. That'll be 200 over, and then it would be 150. 150, and then keep the same size of 135. Now the stroke is going to be the same. That's going to be 150. Okay, let's save this and reload. And now we have our red rectangle or square with the black border. So that's it for for drawing rectangles and changing colors and all that good stuff. So the next thing I want to do is lines. We can create lines. We can make them go certain lengths for a certain amount. You know, we can turn them and then we can connect them and then fill them. So that's what we're going to do. This is nothing fancy. You know, this is just obviously just a quick little design that I created. Nothing special. But I mean,